Hi, welcome to Winnimatics, where mathematics is simplified. If you're new to this channel, quickly click on the subscribe button and equally click on the notification bell so that you'll be notified anytime we upload new video. Okay, so in this video, we'll be looking at or we'll be solving past common entrance examination questions, both federal, state, military schools, so we'll be solving their past questions. Okay, so now, because of how crucial this video is, it's not a video that you just stay and you're watching. No, make sure you have your book and your pen with you. And I will be looking at so many topics because it's basically questions I'll be solving. So any topic we come across, I'll give an overview of that topic and then we solve the questions. So that's how we're going to be doing it until we're able to finish. Okay? Alright, so look at this question. A line that cuts a circle into two equal parts is called a dash. So this is a geometrical question on circle. So we're going to look at parts of a circle because in the exam you will be writing, they will not ask you for this particular one, maybe another one. So let's look at the parts of a circle so that anyone you are asked will be able to answer it. So a circle has so many parts. This is a circle. We have so many parts of the circle. We have circumference, center, radius, diameter, segment, sector, arc, chord, tangent. So we'll start with the center of the circle. Of course, this is a circle. The center, just like you know, center is the middle point of the circle. That's the center of the circle. Then we have the circumference. The circumference of a circle simply means the outer part of the circle. So the whole outer part, outer region of this circle, this outer part, this line here is called the circumference of the circle. So we have the radius. The radius of a circle is any point, or sorry, the line that moves from the center of the circle to any point of the circumference. Any point of the circumference. So any line that moves from the center of the circle to any point of the circumference is called the radius. Then we have what is called the diameter. The diameter is the line that moves from one point of the circumference to another point of the circumference, dividing the circle into two equal parts. So any line that divides the circle into two equal parts, okay, let me take it like this, since I already have a radius, is called a diameter. So this is a diameter. It divides the circle into two equal parts. This is our diameter. Now there is a point to note here. If you look at this critically, you notice something. From this point to here is a radius. Here to here is a radius. So a diameter is simply made up of two radii. Okay, so diameter is the point, is the line that divides the circle into two equal parts. So when we finish explaining this, then we can answer this. You answer this from this explanation. Okay, so diameter divides the circle into two equal parts. Alright, so this is diameter. We move to the next one. The next one is called the segment. Segment of a circle. The segment of a circle simply means if I have a line that touches from one point of the circumference to another point, so let me use this, a line like this. The region that that line covers, this line which is a segment, okay, let me explain. This line is called a chord. Any line that cuts a circle, that touches the circumference of the circle from one point to another is called a chord. So this is a chord. So in other words, diameter is actually a chord, or is a special type of chord that divides the circle into two equal parts. So now, I'll touch arc before I come to the sector arc. This arc simply means any cut on the circumference. Any cut on the circumference. This place is called an arc. If I cut another place, this is an arc. I cut another portion, this is an arc. This is an arc. So this is an arc. So what is now this, what's it called? Segment. Segment is the region enclosed. That region that is covered by the chord, and an arc is called a segment. So this is our segment. Hope you are getting it. This is segment. Then the next thing we look at is I think we have basically explained all this thing. Tangent. Tangent of a circle simply means any line that touches the circumference of a circle at a point. It's basically an outside, the line is always outside the circle. So, but it touches the circle at a point. This, see the point that it touches it. So this line is called a tangent. Tangent of the circle. Is that clear? So that is that. Then there's another type of, there's another part of circle I want us to look at. Though these are the basic ones they ask in common interest. But there's circle. When you divide a circle into two equal parts, you have a semicircle. So this is a semicircle, this is a semicircle. If you divide it into four equal parts, you have what is called quadrant. This is called quadrant. Whereas two quadrants will give you a semicircle. So this one is semicircle. I hope you are getting it. So it's very interesting. Alright, so let's now answer this question. A line that cuts a circle into two equal parts is called everybody, diameter. So it's called a diameter. Alright, so let's look at this next question. Write in figures 4,705. Okay, before we answer this question, let's look at some basic concepts of numbers and numeration. Let's look at 10. We'll look at how many zeros each of these has. 10, 1,000, 100, 1,000, million, a billion, trillion. There's trillion, but for this, let's stop it at billion. Okay, so let's start. 10. 10 has 1 0. 100 has 2 zeros. 1,000 has 3 zeros. Million has 6 zeros. Billion has 9 zeros. Trillion has 12 zeros, but I'm stopping at billion. Okay, so with this, let's come to this question. Write in figure 4,000. So our major concern is in all these things. Let's see where they fall. I have 1,000, I have 100, and I have 5. So 1,000, I start with the biggest one. 1,000. 1,000 has how many zeros? From what you are seeing here, 3 zeros. So write the 3 zeros. 3 zeros. What type of 1,000 do we have here? 4,000. So put your 4 here. 4. Hope you are getting it. Go to the next one. We have 100. 100 has how many zeros? 2 from the back. Put 2, 1, 2. What type of 100? 7. So put it under the next digit. 7. Then the next one is 5. 5 is just a unit, so it will be here 5. When you finish, you bring them down. This is 5. Nothing here is 0. This is 7. And this is 4. So we have 4,705. So that's how to do it. So note how many zeros each of these has. So anyone you are asked, you can be asked, write in figure 10,000, this and that, so you should be able to arrange it. Don't worry, we'll see some other questions like that, but note this concept. Is that understood? So the answer to this question is this, 470. Next question, the prime numbers between 50 and 60 are dash and dash. The prime numbers. So to answer this question, we look at the concept of prime number. What is a prime number? A prime number is any number that has only 2 factors. In other words, any number that only 2 numbers can divide it. The first number is 1. The second number is that number. Any number that has 2 divisors or 2 factors. The first, 1. The second, the number itself. Such a number is called a prime number. For instance, we look at 2. Meanwhile, 1 is not a prime number because 1 has only one factor, which is 1. Itself is still 1, so it has only one factor. So it's not qualified to be a prime number. So look at 2. 2, 1 can divide 2. And the next number that can divide 2 is 2. So 2 has 2 factors, 1 and 2. Look at 3. 3, 1 can divide 3. As a matter of fact, 1 is a common factor for all the numbers, including itself. So 1 divides every number. So every number has 1. So you can actually say that prime factor is any number that can divide itself only. So because 1 is automatically a factor. Okay, so 3, 1 divides 3. And another number that can divide 3, 2 cannot divide 3. So the next number that can divide 3 is 3. So it has only 2 factors. So 3 is qualified to be a prime number. Okay, let's look at 4. 4, of course, 1 will divide 4. If you look at this, is any number that can divide 4? 4 is an even number, so 2 can divide 4. So because 2 can divide 4, this 4 is not qualified to be a prime number because 2 can divide it, and another number that can divide it is 4. So 4 has 3 factors. Because it has 3 factors, remember our condition, a prime number must have only 2 factors. So because of that, 4 is not qualified to be a prime number. So it's not a prime number. So if you look at 5, 2 numbers can divide 5, 1 and itself. So this is the concept of prime number. So can we go back to the question? Alright. So we have 50 and 60. That is all the numbers between 50 and 60. So let's write the numbers between 50 and 60 and start subjecting them to this law or this condition that it must have only 2 factors. So the numbers between 50 and 60, they are 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, and 59. These are the numbers between 50 and 60. So let's start. If I thought anyone will look at it, does it have only 2 factors? If it has 2 factors, we'll clarify it is part of the prime number, but if it doesn't, send it to the village. Alright, so let's look at this. 51. Of course, 51 has 1. 1 can divide it. What's the next number that can divide is 2 cannot divide it because it's not an even number. So every even numbers are numbers that has 0, 2, 4, 6, and 8 at the end. So these numbers are called even numbers. So any number that is even doesn't even have chance of becoming a prime number. So we can actually cancel out all the even numbers because they can never be a prime number because they have a factor 2 there. So this one is an even number, so it cannot be a prime number. This is an even number, it cannot be a prime number. This is an even number, it cannot be a prime number. It's only 2 actually. There's an even number that is a prime number because it's 2. Alright, so this is 58, it cannot be a prime number because it's an even number. So let's look at these odd numbers, the ones that qualify. So this one, another thing, let's look at 3. Can 3 divide this number? 3 divide 5 is 1, remainder 2. Put the 2 here, making it 21. 3 divide 21 will give us 7. So it has 17, and then it has 3, 17, and 51, and then another 2. So this, because it has another number that can divide, we've seen that 3 can divide it. This one is not a prime number. Let's go to 53. 53, of course it has 1. Can 2 go? No, because it's not an even number. What of 3? 3 divides this is 1, remainder 2, put it here, 23. Can 3 divide 23? No. What of 4? 5. So no number can divide this 53 except 1 and itself. So this one qualifies to be a prime number. We go to 55. Of course, looking at 55, we already know that 5 can divide 55. So because 5 can divide 55, it's not a prime number. So go home. We're left with 57 and 59. So 57, let's look at it. 2 cannot go, yes. 3, what of 3? 3 divides 5 is 1, remainder 2. Put the 2 here, making it 27. 3 27 is 9. So 3 can divide 57 to give us 19. So 57 is not a prime number. So go home. We have 59. Of course, we should know that 59 because it will be two numbers. We have gotten one, it should be 59. But let's check. 1 will definitely go. 2, it's not an even number. 3 goes here. 1 remains and 2 put it here. 29. Can 3 divide 29? No. 4, no. 5, no. So nothing else can divide 59 except itself and 1. So this and this are the prime numbers between 50 and 60. So I have 53 and 59 as my answer. Okay, so in your own exam or in your own case, you may be asked, what are the prime numbers between 10 and 20? So you should be able to write all the numbers between 10 and 20 and start checking this thing I just did now. Which ones that nothing can divide except itself. Anyone you see that one thing can divide it, just rule it out. It cannot be a prime number. Is that understood? Okay, so that's how simple this is. Equation. Change 75% to decimal. We are coming to that. So let's look at percent. When we talk about percentage, what we mean is out of 100. So if I have 3%, 3% simply means 3 over 100. If I have 18%, 18% simply means 18 over 100. If I have say 103%, 103% simply means 103 over 100. Alright, now if we want to change this thing to decimal, because it is over means division. So because it's over, and you know 100 has 2 zeros, we are going to move back, roll back in 2 steps and put our points. Let me do you understand what I'm saying. I will roll back in 2 steps and put points. It's simple like that. So I have 2 zeros here. So I will roll back in 2 steps. This is 1, 2, and I will put my point. So that the decimal form of this will now be point. See point, point. This place that is empty, that nothing is, I will use 0 to cover it. So this is 0 and this is 3. So 0.03, to make it look fine, it means it's something like 0.03 because the whole part is 0. Okay, the whole part is 0. So you see 3 over 100, there's no whole part. There's nothing like one whole number, 1 over 3, so it's, the whole part is 0. That's why it's 0. Do you understand it? Okay, let's look at this one again. 100, 2 zeros. So we are moving backward in 2 places because of these 2 zeros. So let's go, this is 1, this is 2, and we put our points. So we have 0.18. There's no empty place like this one. In this one, we have an empty place, that's why we put 0 there. But in this one, you see the 2, we have 2 digits. So those 2 digits, they have already collected the 2 movement backwards we did because of 2 zeros here. Exactly. So this is 1, 2, there is no point, no place to put. So I have 0.18. To make it to look fine, I will put 0 here. So this is 0.18. Let's go to this. This is 103 over 100. This one has 3 digits, but we are not bothered about that. Our concern is in this. How many zeros has 100? 2 zeros. So we are going to move backward in 2 places. So let's go. This is 1, 2. Stop here. So we have 1.03. You see it, the point is here. There's a number before the point, so that's why we have 1. But all this place is no point, no number here, no number here. That's why we put zeros in there. Is that understood? Okay, so can we stop this? I think you should know it by now. So let's do 75% means 75 over 100. So if we do the same thing, 100 has 2 zeros, so we'll move back in 2 places. So we have 1, 2, and put our point. So I have 0.75, which is the same thing as 0.75. Isn't that very simple? Very simple. So you can be asked to change 85% to decimal, change 13% to decimal. Just follow this method. We get it. Easy. Alright, so let's go to the next question. Okay, so let's look at this question. This is what is the place value of 4 in 1476, that's 1476.25. What is the place value of 4 in this number? Okay, so before we answer this question, let's look at the concept of place value on both whole numbers and decimal fractions. Or decimals, yes. So we look at place value of whole numbers. Whole numbers, there's numbers that a number that doesn't have points. 5, 2, 4, 7. For instance, this is a whole number. Let's place value on this. This 7 here stands for units. So it's on its own. This 4 here stands for tens. Are you with me? So tens has 1 0. You remember when we did the other one, the writing figures or writing words in figure? I told you 10 has 0. Okay, 1 0. So this 4 stands for 4 tens, which you can write as 40. 4 to 1 0. This 2 here stands for what? 100. This is 100 units, tens, 100. We are moving like back. So 2 stands for 100, and 100 has 2 zeros. So meaning that this 2 means the same as 2, 0, 0, 200. This 5 here stands for 1,000. 1,000. 1,000 has how many zeros? 3. So this is 5 with 3 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 5,000. So this is whole number. This is how to place. So you can have another number here. Another number here. Let me call it 9, for instance. If I have 9 here, this 9 after 1,000, the next thing I have is 10,000. 10,000. There's tens of thousand. So the tens of thousand, 10 and 1,000. So this 9 will be 9, 10. 10 has 1 0. 1,000. 1,000 has 3 zeros. 1, 2, 3. So it stands for 90,000. Is that understood? So that's how it keeps going this side. So this is our whole number. Now if I put my points, this is point, and I start writing digits here, each of these digits will take a different way. So after points, let's assume I have another number here, say 3, for instance. Immediately after the point, this 3 here, no unit again. Unit is only for whole parts. So after the point, this 3 here takes what we call tenth. Tenth, it will start from this side, tenth, 100, 1,000, but this time are not. This one is tens, tens. This side will now be tenth. It has TH. You can put S, but TH. What does it mean? It means at this point is no longer, this one is you are adding the zero, you are adding, but this time now is over. So this 3 here stands for 3 tenths, and 3 tenths means 3 over 10. Is that understood? Okay. So if I have another number, say 6, for instance, after 10th, just like after 10th, you have 100. So after 10th, I'm going to have 100th. So this stands for 100. And how am I going to write this? That common sense that is common. How do we do it? Since this one 10th means 3 over 10, 100 will now be 6 over 100. Is that understood? Okay, so if I have another number here, let me say 8. This 8 here after 100, just like you have 100 here, the next one is 10. So this one will now, will be 1,000. So this will be 1,000. 1,000. And 1,000, your guess is as good as mine. It will be what? The same thing as 8 over 1,000. So that's how it continues. So the decimal point, immediately after the decimal point, each of the number will now be, the first one will be over 10, the second one will be over 100, the third one will be over 1,000. So this one is called 10th, this one is called 100, this one is called 1,000. So if I ask you in this question, this particular number now, and I ask, what is the value of 7 here? The value of 7 is units, 7 units. If I ask, what is the value of 6 in this number? The value of 6 here is 600. Either you write it 600 or you write it 6 over 100. You know, your entrance examination question is basically objective, so you will see the options there. So some options, they may write it in words like this, or they may write it in figure. So whichever one, you should be able to get the answer correctly. If I ask you what is the value of 5 here, the value of 5 here is 5,000. That is 5,000, like this. Okay, so that's how to do it. I hope it's understood, right? Okay, so let's use the knowledge of what we just learned now to answer this question 6.25. Can we quickly place value on them? Remember what I said, this is whole number, numbers before the point. So let's place value. Whole number start with unit, tens, 100,000. Then after the point, we start having tenth, 100. So what digit are we asked? 4. So let's find 4. Where is 4? See 4 here. 4 stands for 400. So this is 400. Hundreds. Or you can write it like this, 400. Okay, so to know that you've actually understood or that you got the explanations I gave in this video, these are 5 questions for you to try. The first one says the outer part of the circle is called a dash. Second, write in figures 16,606. 3. List the prime numbers between 20 and 30. 4. Change 43% to decimal. And the fifth one, what is the place value of 3 in 19.23? So use the explanation I gave in the video and answer these questions. When you are done, make use of the comment section to write in your answers. Okay? And don't forget to click on the subscribe. If you have not yet done that, click on the subscribe and equally click on the notification bell so that you'll be notified anytime we upload new video. Share with your friends, that your friend that you know that is having challenge with mathematics or preparing for any examination for primary school, going to secondary. It will be of benefit to them. Alright, so I remain yours, Winifred, and this is Winnimatics, where mathematics is simplified.